All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are going to explore exactly how something as incredibly simple as a vocal hum can rapidly shift your body right out of a state of stress.
You know, we all deal with the universal problem of modern stress. Whether you're staring down a high-pressure meeting at work, navigating a tricky argument, or just feeling totally overwhelmed by racing thoughts, your body's stress response can sometimes feel like a runaway train, completely out of your control. But the incredible solution to that might actually just be hiding right there in the back of your throat. Can a simple vocal hum actually hack your nervous system and instantly bring you a sense of calm? Well, the science says absolutely yes, and the biological mechanics behind it are just fascinating.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the power of humming. Second, the biological superhighway. Third, the science of vibration. Fourth, the chemical shift. And finally, number 5, more ways to reset.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the power of humming as a therapeutic tool.
So the whole foundation of this process relies on something called the vagus nerve, also known as cranial nerve X. This is literally your body's built-in brake pedal for stress. It's a hugely critical component of your parasympathetic, or rest and digest, nervous system. See, when we get stressed out, our sympathetic nervous system triggers that classic fight-or-flight response. The vagus nerve is exactly what counteracts that. It is the core anatomical structure responsible for putting the brakes on a racing heart and actually calming you down.
Moving right along to Section 2, the biological superhighway, mapping the vagus nerve.
Now check out this number, 75%. The vagus nerve isn't just some minor side street in your anatomy, it carries a massive 75% of your parasympathetic nervous system's nerve fibers. That makes it the absolute dominant pathway for relaxation in your entire body.
And when you look at where this nerve goes, it is just incredible. Exiting the skull through the jugular foramen, it travels down the neck to directly connect your brainstem to so many of your major organs. It weaves through the pharynx and larynx in your throat, right down the esophagus, and directly connects into your heart, your lungs, and your entire gastrointestinal tract. This is exactly why when you get really nervous, you feel those butterflies in your stomach or that tightness in your chest. Your brain is communicating directly to those organs via this exact superhighway.
All right, Section 3, the science of vibration, looking at sound and the vagus nerve.
If you actually place a hand on your chest or throat right now and just hum, you can physically feel this sequence happening. First, the vocal vibration begins. Second, those physical vibrations hit specialized sensors called mechanoreceptors, which are located right near your vocal cords and larynx. Third, these sensors detect that physical movement and send a calming signal straight up the vagus nerve branches. And finally, that signal hits your brainstem, which triggers an immediate relaxation response. You are literally massaging your own nervous system from the inside out.
And this brilliantly illustrates why humming is such a game changer compared to other relaxation techniques. It hits multiple branches of the vagus nerve at the exact same time. By vibrating the throat, you stimulate the pharyngeal branch, but the sound also resonates up in your head, stimulating the auricular branch inside your ear canal. This dual stimulation essentially forces a rapid, undeniable shift right out of fight-or-flight mode. In fact, research even shows that humming can generate a lower stress index than actually sleeping.
Next up, Section 4, the chemical shift, looking at these amazing molecules of calm. Get this. This simple act of humming creates a jaw-dropping 15-fold spike in nasal nitric oxide compared to just sitting there breathing quietly. That is a 1,500% increase. Nitric oxide is a really powerful molecule that improves blood circulation, opens up your airways, and significantly reduces inflammation. So just by vocalizing a gentle hum, you are literally flooding your bloodstream with this incredibly therapeutic compound.
But you know, the chemical magic doesn't stop there. When that vibration signal hits your brainstem, it orders the release of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. You can think of acetylcholine as the ultimate chemical messenger of calm. It travels straight to your heart to tell it to slow down. It lowers your blood pressure. It commands those tense muscles of yours to just release. It is the direct chemical antidote to the adrenaline of stress.
This whole chemical cascade even acts like a protective shield for your immune system through something called the cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. This neural reflex allows the vagus nerve to suppress pro-inflammatory cytokines in your body, like TNF-alpha and IL-6. This means that by simply activating your vagus nerve through sound, you're using a completely drug-free way to reduce excessive inflammation and support your body's immune activity. It's a fast neural feedback loop that basically keeps your immune system in check.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, more ways to reset, moving beyond just vocal sounds.
You've probably heard all the hype around cold water therapy for stress, right? Well, the details really matter here. While splashing cold water specifically on your face triggers a deeply calming mammalian dive reflex via the trigeminal nerve, you really need to be aware of the opposite effect. A sudden full-body cold immersion causes a very stressful gasp reflex. This gasp reflex actually creates a massive sympathetic surge, spiking your heart rate and your blood pressure. So if you are looking for that vagal calm, your best bet is to stick to holding your breath and briefly immersing just your face in cool water.
Now, over in medical settings, doctors and functional care practitioners use very specific interventions to physically interrupt rapid heartbeats, like supraventricular tachycardia, and to break acute anxiety. These are known as vagal maneuvers. They include the Valsalva maneuver, carotid sinus massage, or even intentionally activating the gag reflex. You can also try vigorous gargling. In fact, functional experts recommend gargling water vigorously enough to actually make your eyes tear up. Or simply adopt a 1-to-2 breathing ratio, where your exhale lasts exactly twice as long as your inhale. All of these actions basically force your vagus nerve to wake up and take charge.
Alternatively, if you're more into a full-body approach, somatic research shows that certain physical yoga postures can gently regulate your nervous system. Holding poses like the bridge pose, downward-facing dog, or child's pose for just 30 seconds to a couple of minutes helps to gently lengthen the torso, relax facial muscles, and completely reset your vital systems. It's just a beautifully passive way to encourage that parasympathetic shift. So, we've covered the science of vibration, the chemical cascades, and the physical reflexes that govern your state of mind. Now that you intimately understand the biological superhighway inside of you, what simple hack are you going to use today to take control of your nervous system? Will it be a minute of quiet humming in the car, a splash of cold water in the morning, or maybe a 1-to-2 breathing exercise right before a big meeting? The power to hit the brakes on stress is quite literally inside you. So how will you flex your vagal tone today? And what other hidden biological switches are just waiting to be discovered?